Hello again everyone. So how would you like a daily driver laptop for just £13? Well, that's what this is. I said to you I was going to start doing a teardown review of some of the old laptops that I've built. Again, for those joining new to my channel, I'm interested in seeing what old laptop hardware will do in the world of 2017 and beyond, if you can turn an old laptop into a daily driver, and spend as little money as possible getting it there. So that's really what I'm trying to do. And I've been a big fan of Lenovo laptops for many years. They're nice to work on, upgrade generally, so I thought I would buy a few old crappy ones, busted ones, and see what I could do. Well, the first two that I've bought were two of these Lenovo 3000 N200 laptops. I got them for a total of £26 from an eBay seller. The nice thing about that was that the eBay seller lived about sort of 12 miles from my home, so I drove down to pick them up and didn't even pay any postage on them. And I got two of these 3000 N200s, almost identical, except this one doesn't have the webcam and the other one does. A fairly minor addition there. But otherwise they're virtually identical. The other one has a couple of faults on it. It's got a missing battery clip, which is fairly minor, and it's got a weird sort of power supply fault. Again, it's fairly minor, but it'd be nice to fix it at some point. If you turn the laptop on from cold with the charger plugged in the back, it will not start. If you unplug the charger and then start it, it will start fine on battery, and if you then plug the charger in a couple of seconds later, it will happily sit there and work on the charger and charge the battery. It just won't start up from a cold boot with the charger plugged in. So if anybody knows what the cause of that might be, it'd be interesting to know. I guess it's some kind of motherboard fault. I may try and fault find it at some point. I may even video it, but also I'll just keep an eye out for maybe one of these on eBay that's got a busted screen, but the motherboard's okay, because I'm guessing it's a motherboard problem, and if I change the motherboard out, it will fix the issue. And hopefully at the same time it'll also have both the battery clips in place, and I can use one of those as well to fix the other issue on the laptop. Oh, there is one more fault on the other one as well. This the touchpad, the buttons here are a bit, the left button is obviously just worn a bit through use and doesn't always click in place, so I bought another one of these to go on the other laptop from a guy in Lithuania for about £4, so that was a no-brainer, so I'll replace that and the other one at some point as well. But otherwise they're in extremely good condition. A little bit of scratching on the lid, but nothing major more than that. So yeah, the nice thing about these is I haven't seen many of these laptops about. As I understand it, they were built by Lenovo. Lenovo are a Chinese laptop company who bought the IBM laptop business in 2005, and between 2005 and 2008 they released this 3000 series of laptops in three types, which was the C series, the N series and the V series. And they released them to make inroads into the West to sell laptops, but I'm not sure how well they do. I haven't seen many of these, but they're quite a nice sturdy build. They are heavy, they're not something you want to carry about too much, but they're fine sat on a desk as daily drivers. A good thing to mention about these, if having read up on the spec of these laptops, if you are a daily driver, don't buy the C series, because the C series laptops came with only Pentium and Celeron processors. It's the N series and the V series that come with the Core 2 Duo processors, which if you saw my last video I said is really the minimum you need to look at for a processor to be a daily driver in 2017 and beyond, because you need at least a dual core processor to deal with all the heavy web stuff that we use these days, like Facebook and YouTube and so on, and video rendering. So don't buy single core processor laptops. They're just not much use unless you're doing retro gaming. If you're playing old retro games on Windows 98 or Windows 2000, fine, get them, but they're not really a daily driver. The nice thing about these is they're extremely easy to upgrade. You've got 3 panels in the bottom. This one here is the CPU panel, so you take these 2 screws out, take the panel off, Beneath it are about 5 screws to take off the fan and cooling assembly, take that off, and then you can get the processor and swap that out. I've done that already. This came with a 1.6 gigahertz processor. I found one on eBay for £10 that took it to a 2.4 gigahertz processor, so it was a 50% speed increase for £10. A no-brainer. I bought it and it works beautifully. Just stuck it in there, put a bit more silicone paste on the top of it to bond it to the cooler better, and it worked perfectly fine and happily. Here's the 2 RAM slots. It had one RAM DIMM in it for 1 gigabyte. Again, I got a 4 gigabyte upgrade for just £15 on Amazon. Again, a no-brainer. Again, 4 gigabytes is really the minimum you need on any modern day daily driver laptop if you're doing internet, web surfing and social media and stuff. So again, just took out the 1 gig and put in 2 gigs, and that was £15, and that was it. Up here is the hard drive slot. Again, when you buy a laptop that's come from a commercial laptop recyclers, they've generally taken the hard drives out and trashed them for security reasons. So these both came without hard drives, but I put an SSD in here, 120 gigabyte SSD for about £44, and that now dual boots both Linux and Windows XP. And again, Windows XP, because I don't really use Windows that much anyway these days. I'm mainly a Linux man. And XP is just a nice thing to have, just to do some simple. There's a few apps I like to use on XP, and to do some simple Windows gaming as well. So it's worth having. So, but a look at what ports this thing has on it. So at the side you've got a USB port, a FireWire port, an Ethernet port, and here you've got a PC Express port. And I thought it might be nice just to buy one of these PC Express cards. They're about £10 on Amazon, and that gives me 2 USB 3 ports on there. Those seem to work fine. There are drivers for Windows XP and of course Windows 7 and beyond. The only thing with these work okay with USB sticks and with SD card readers and with USB hard drives that are powered, that have their own power supply. If you've got a portable USB hard disk that hasn't got its built-in power, then it needs to take more power from this card, and therefore you may need to attach the cable they give you with the card that provides an extra 5 volts. Basically you plug it into a spare USB port and then connect the cable into the power here, power jack, and then that gives it an extra bit of power to work. I've got Linux on this laptop, and for some reason I can't get this PC Express card to work yet, but the Linux that I use is one called N200 Linux, and it's very much a self-build one, and I think I just need to look at the kernel drivers and maybe change those and see if I can get it to work. I'll do some more research on that. Incidentally, it might be worthwhile at some point just doing a video and checking the speed of these, because I've been interested to see how the speed of these USB 3 ports compares to, say, a laptop that's got them already built in and stuff, because I don't know how good these actually are, if they match up speed for speeds, but it will be worth having a look at later on. So on the other side there are 3 USB ports, headphone jack and microphone jack, and then in here, although this looks like an optical drive, and this came with an optical drive, I just purchased an extra hard disk caddy, and in there now, because I don't use optical drives very much, I put in an extra hard disk. That's a 1 terabyte one I had kicking about. So there's an SSD in the bottom of this laptop and a standard SATA hard disk in here. Gives me a bit of extra storage, and it works extremely well. So yeah, so I've got XP running on here. It runs Firefox. I hope Chris from Explaining Computers doesn't mind if I quickly run his video as an example, just to show you.
The Udo X86 Advanced Plus, and it's rather a wacky box. So let's get inside. I think we just pull it up. We do, yes, it gets like that. Oh, definitely X86. And
but that happily runs 720p video quite nicely on YouTube, no problem with that at all. So yeah, as I said to on earlier videos, I like to try and keep to a £100 budget when I do these laptops, and I've kind of kept with it here. So here's here's what I did with it. I've basically, I'm just going to adjust the camera just slightly. So what I've done with this is the laptop cost me, oops, a total of £13. I put in a CPU upgrade to a T9300 2.4 gigahertz processor for £10. Upgraded the memory for £15 to 4 gig, 120 gigabyte SSD, and that was £83 in total, including the cost of the laptop. The other one will need a Lenovo power supply, because I only got one power supply with the two laptops. That's about £10, so it still keeps it within the £100 budget. A couple of nice little additions which aren't necessary for the daily driver stuff, but they're nice haves. So I put in the additional PC Express USB card for £10, USB 3 card, and an optical disk drive caddy, so I could put a SATA drive in place of the old DVD RAM drive. And yeah, so I did that for £103 in total. So quite pleased with that. And I say this is a nice and easy laptop to work on. If I find another 41 that I can use for spares, then yeah, very, very nice. So very pleased with it. So thank you for watching. Click like, subscribe, add any comments, any feedback, and see you again soon. Take care and bye-bye.